Okay, let's do beginner first. Shouldn't take us long to do beginner, and then we'll at least get a chance to talk about the intermediate challenges quite a bit. Stop me at any time if I go too fast or you don't understand anything. I'm going to join Alpha. So bring up their score. Hopefully. Alright. Borders. So firstly the platform, right? We need to make sure that whatever our styles are being applied to, let me zoom in. Whatever our styles are being applied to there, we have the corresponding element in our HTML up the top. So we've got div padding of 10, and we need a red border, solid style, and 3 pixels. How do we add borders into our CSS? So what's the property name and the values that it can take? Border, yep, so literally just the word border. They try and make CSS simple. Sometimes it does get complicated when everything gets mixed around, but what order do these properties go in? Solid red is not the first one, no. First the size, so we got size, then the style, then we've got the color, yeah? So we wanted, what was the, again, 3 pixels. 3 pixels, solid, and red, yeah? Cool. And then we need to make sure we put a div in here, make sure it's a tag, and, oh, not a data list, that's interesting. And inside the div must go the text. Text in this case says hello borders. Did it have a capital? I can't remember now. Did it have a capital H? Thank you. Test that one. Confetti time. Anything wrong in the elegance? No. All good. Any questions on that one?
So yeah, so if I do every line border capital width, I can do everything separately.
Is it weight? Is it border weight?
I will lose some points, yes?
No, definitely not. If you did it
Okay.
separately, is it border weight or border something else?
Yeah, I did everything.
If I spelt weight wrong.
Border width, border type, and border color.
Width, yes. Border width. Border style, yeah.
So I won't lose points.
No, definitely not. There's no penalties for using alternative styling methods, right? It's just easier to use the shorthand for most people than to set the individual properties. And the last one was border color, yeah? So yeah, that's a nice alternative there if you wanted to do that instead. Okay, so up to you which way you want to do it. Obviously one or the other, rather than both. Good stuff. Moving on. Body, that seems to match up nicely. What have we got to put in our body? Welcome to HTML and CSS. Welcome to HTML and CSS. I think there's an exclamation mark. Yep. Let's set the background color of our app to blue. How do I do that? Yeah, I could do background color. How about just background? Yeah, that also works. So background is another shorthand property, similar to border being shorthand for other ones. Background is a combination of background properties. Which ones, I couldn't tell you without looking, to be honest, but lots of them. And it seems to be more performant than just using background color, which I find a bit counterintuitive because background has the potential to do lots of properties, change lots of values at once, whereas background color should just obviously change one. Yeah, so I tend to use background because I'm lazy and I don't want to type color each time, but it's up to you which way you want to do it. Not a big difference. Those two options both work. Just remember it's the American spelling of colour and not the English spelling, which catches some people out sometimes. Alright, any questions on that one? Nope. Labels. Yeah, so this was how to set italics. How do we set italics, guys? Say again?
Emphasize. EM.
Emphasize. No, I don't want to use emphasize. I don't think that's the greatest way to do it. So, font style. I think that's the better way to do it. Yeah, than using the. Did you use an EM tag? Yeah. Okay, we'll do that way afterwards. But I think that's probably an old, not greatly supported practice anymore. So let's do font style italic. And we also need some big text, so we can do font what? Size, exactly, 50 pixels, something like that. The label itself, hello italics. I can remember that one, that's easy. With a capital H. Oh, if I can spell it helps, italics. And was that it? Yep, that was it. No elegance again. I tags, this. Why does it love my data list? I must have been working with data lists. Okay, and then get rid of that one, or at least just comment it out. Does that work? Does. Alright, so you got that way. You got EM as well, you reckon? I thought that made it bold, no? Oh no, you're right, it doesn't. It does make it italic. Okay. Yeah, lots of ways to do it. I think the CSS is the preferred way to go. Why? Hagen? Neater? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it, right? Separation of concerns. So, historically, HTML should have just been for content. Oh, someone's added me as an echo. Guys, can you mute yourself remotely, please? Thank you. Yep. So, HTML should just be the structure and the content. So, things like EM and I is overlapping with CSS. We're getting some styling now directly in our HTML. Yeah, so not the best practice. Let's try and separate those things, because then how about people start using both? Yeah, and then someone wants to change the style and they can't work out why. They've checked all the CSS, it looks perfect, but they haven't realized that they've got a EM tag or an I tag in there that's overwriting that or changing it. Yeah, so let's try and keep our styles in one place only, and that should be your CSS.
Question mark, could you overwrite that at all? Was that possible? So assuming for this time,
yeah, I'm not sure. It's worth a try though, right? So what we're gonna do? Font style, different one. Like, what can we have? Is there bold there? What? Yeah. Oh, we'll make important, of course. Yeah. Where does the important go? Yeah. All right. Still seems to work. Yeah. I mean, it could be doing both styles, right? Though that's the thing. Could be doing italics and bold. Shouldn't use what? No, we shouldn't. But we're just seeing if we can get rid of the EM or the I in any way. Can we overwrite that style? Yeah. Emphasize, it stands for, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And to emphasize something, we can italicize it. Yeah. Gives it a specificity of very, very high number. Which high number? 10,000. Yeah. And of course, you can do horrible things like important. Yeah, but definitely don't do that. Don't even use important if possible. I think Ricardo gave you a couple of use cases where you could use it, right? If you were using external libraries and you didn't know how to overwrite it, those sorts of things. But yeah, try and keep your styling in the CSS only, and then you shouldn't need to use things like important, and you can separate your structure and your styles. Cool. I'm going to have to change that back so it works. Next one, we have, so we have different ways of setting colors in HTML, in CSS. And which ways have we got? We've got the named way, like red, blue, tomato, all these sorts of colors, yeah. We've also got hexadecimal, which is the way we're going to use here. What other way have we got? RGB, yeah. What other way technically is an extension of that have we got? RGBA, nice, yeah. Any others? Hey, hex, that's what we're doing here, yeah? We're going to do hexadecimal here. Were you asking what it was, or are you just saying another? Oh, what's the convention? Oh, it's been mentioned because it's this one. Yeah, I said we'll do named, this one, or the RGB. Oh, hex colors are web-friendly smiley face. All right. Hex colors are web-friendly smiley face. So what selector do I need to use? Body, awesome. What goes inside? What am I trying to change? What property? Background, was it? Yeah. And how do I write a hexadecimal color? Hashtag, yeah, that shows CSS that this is a hexadecimal value we're giving it. EF008A. I mean, it's obvious that that one's a hexadecimal, but it could only just contain numbers, right? It could be like 8, 9, 6, 7, 4, 3, I don't know. And that's some weird sort of browny, horrible colour, so nicely chosen by me, not. EF008A. Cool, that should be a nice pink colour. Seems to match. Anything else for elegance? Semicolon, yep, so if you miss it, you will get expected a trailing semicolon. Still works, but only because there's one property. If you had 2 properties, it would not work. Does it work? No, it doesn't work, so I've done something wrong, have I? I've spelt friendly wrong. Oh, web-friendly. Yep, so it would have worked without the semicolon, but please always put your semicolons. Yep, still works. Any questions on that one? Nope, moving on. Last one. HTML links. Do you like the internet? Question mark, download it. Do you like the internet? Download it. Cool. So we've already got a P tag and an A tag. So that means we should probably put this text in a paragraph. Where does the A tag go? Say again? Yep. So it starts there, and it ends there. Okay. And then, what else do we need then? Display green. And it looks like we need an underline as well. So those 2 things, how do we do them? Where do they go? Color is one of them. And inside the A tag, or the A selector, so color, green, semicolon. See, if I don't put a semicolon this time, we try a second thing, it will not work. So second property is, for the underline, text decoration. And in CSS we don't write things like that, do we? So we don't use camel case, so we always use kebab case in CSS, yeah? Text decoration, and it is underline. So it's complaining. Why? Because I haven't put that semicolon above. So we would get, we'd get a couple of errors. So obviously I didn't close my tag on line 1. P, oh yeah, we've got 2 opening P's. So make sure that is a closing P tag. And then it says missed semicolon, line 6, column 9. Quite right, we did. And that's it. All good. Yeah. Any questions on beginner? Pretty straightforward. Yes, it's just really getting you used to making sure you're using the correct selectors, making sure they match up. You don't even need to use class or class name, yeah, like we do in React. So you're not, I don't think, even going to get those mixed up. Maybe the odd question here or there. But just make sure if you do need to give it a class name, you use class equals with the name in quotes, because this is HTML and not JSX. Awesome. Let's, well, we don't really need to submit it, but let's just leave it. So there were the scores, really high scores all around, so good teamwork, people helping out everyone else. Yeah, well done guys. Intermediate, quite different. Bit harder. Really good layout practice today. I think it was 2 questions on grid and then 3 questions on Flex 2, so the harder versions of the Flex as well. So if you did manage to, well, I don't think anyone did manage to get those, but we'll have a look at least one of them today. Let's go alpha again. Okay, grid can be very tricky. So this is going to take me a little while to type out, so bear with me, but you can tell me what I need to do. I need to create a main container so we can give that a class of, you know what, oh no, okay, I won't be too lazy. Container. Awesome. How many other elements do I need inside? 5, yeah. Where's my quotes gone? Over there. And we need, for now, just because I don't want any default stylings mixing it up, I'm going to use some divs. I'll use some paragraphs later and show you what happens if we use those. So we need 5 divs. Do they need class names? What class name should we give it? Did you say item or box? Box is shorter, I'm going box. Okay, and we need 5 of these. Actually, I'm going to put grid inside as well for now. Make it easier for me to put my selector in there. Okay, so we got 5 of those. And it was grid can be very tricky, yeah? Can be, but I think only because there's lots of properties that we need to get our heads around. So once we've learnt a few of those, I think it's a really powerful way to do modern layouts. Okay, so selectors down here. Are we going to use div or are we going to use something else? We're going to use the class, so dot, yeah, dot container. And our other one's going to be dot box, yeah? What goes in the container if we're using grid? Display grid we're definitely going to need, yeah. What else? We need a 2-column layout here. How could we do that? Grid, template, columns. Yeah, there's also a grid template rows, but we just want 2 columns, and let the rows sort themselves out. I'm going to leave it there for now. In fact, I saw a few different ways of doing this, right? I saw people do, well, firstly I saw people do this. Auto, auto. So you're letting each box size itself based on its content, yeah? So, yeah, it's not going to be the best way to do it, and you might not have completely even boxes if you do it that way. So instead, if we want completely even, so someone do this using the repeat method, and then I think that, is it that way around, whoever used that, or is it the wrong way around? That's right, isn't it? So we put the unit we want each column to have, and then how many times we want it to repeat. Is it the other way around, is it, Cam? I always forget. It's 2, 1 FR, is it? That way around.
I thought so, but I'm probably wrong.
That doesn't look right to me. I think it's the other way around, but I'm not sure. Anyway, is it worth using the repeat method for 2 columns? I don't think so, yeah? And then you have tricky questions like that. Oh, which way around is it? Oh, what does that do? Someone doesn't know what repeat does. So let's keep it as simple as possible. We have 2 columns, 1 FR, 1 FR. Yeah? What's an FR? Yeah, so it's one of these responsive units, and it's a fractional unit. What does that mean? Well, if we've got 2 columns, 1/2 is going to be allocated to the first column, and 1/2 is going to be allocated to the second column. If I did that, what's the breakdown in terms of its fractions? What proportion is the first column going to be? 1/3, yeah, and then the second column is going to be 2/3. Yeah, you see how it works? If this was 3, first column 3/5, second column 2/5, yeah? So it always adds up to 1. And that would extend, obviously, if you did 1 FR there, the last column would be 1/6 of the total available space. Anyway, and I think Ricardo mentioned as well, if they're equal, then that's just the same as doing 1 FR, 1 FR, yeah? You just create 6 virtual columns, but in actuality, they're equal, so we might as well just do 1 FR, 1 FR. Good, that's that bit. Anything else?
50%, 50%.
Okay, you've also written 50%, 50%, which works in this case, right? But if you had 3 of them, what are you going to do? Yeah, when does it end? So I think it's better to let the computer now just calculate that for us. Yeah, rather than having to do the bit of maths in our head and work out whether we've got the percentages right to make it occupy the whole page. It's fine for this case, but when we've got a lot more columns and a more complicated layout, it could get pretty tricky and easy to make errors. Yeah, make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
But good alternative solution in this case. Yeah, anything else go in the container, or where do you want these other things to go? We need line color, black text, internal gutter of 20 pixels, and a gap between of 10 pixels. Where does all that go, and how do I write it? Which one first? Line color, guys, where does that go? Let's look at the diagram again. Does it go in the container or the item? Sorry, box, yeah, thank you. So line. What else goes in here? Padding, okay. Padding of what? 20, yeah. So internal gutter, we could call that padding, another name for it. What else we got? The gap between to 10 pixels, where does that go? Container, and how would I set that? Grid gap, yeah. I haven't actually tried it with margin, but I think you could do it, but then you've got to do a bit of calculation again. Is it 5 here, 5 there? Where does it all go? So I think grid gap is the easiest way to just make sure that the space between is whatever you set it to. 10 pixels. And one more, the color. Does it matter where the color goes? Doesn't really matter, yeah, but if we put it in the container, it's just going to filter down into the box. Oh, so I've got,
Background color. Which color?
huh? Yep, this one is background. Yep, so it's not colour, it's background. Good. Do we need anything else? No? Want to test it? Should be it. So we've created a container to house all of our boxes. Done one box for each element, and then we've given a template to arrange them. So 2 columns, and then when you run out of space, just go to the next row. Yeah, looks good. Great. God, why did it take you so long then? You did it in no time then. Yeah. Just because you've just done it, right? But alright, good stuff. So not too bad, not too bad. And just because I know the next question is very similar, to not bore you to death with my slow typing skills, let's copy all of this and we can amend it for the next question. Or at least have it there as a reference. Oh, yeah, so let's copy that. I need to remove that again, otherwise it won't let me proceed. Okay. So this time we've got A, B, C, D. So instead, I'm going to just give this an A, B, C, and a D. Don't need the 5th one this time. And I think it's worth you telling me what to write, again, at least in the CSS. So what am I going to put inside my container? Display grid. Yep. So we always need the display grid if we're working with grid. And that should go in your parent container. Yeah, or your parent element. So container like that. Dot container. Why the dot? Because it's a class name. Yep. Good stuff. So this time we've still got a 2-column layout. What's the property to do my columns? Grid. No, not grid area. Grid. Template. Oh, it's making me work for this. Columns. And this time we want the second column to be 3 times as large as the first one. Yeah, so Damiano probably did 25 and 75. Did you, Damiano? Percentage?
Yeah, no.
We didn't quite get there.
Just stop at first task.
Okay, but you could do it that way, but
That was pretty close, but
nice. But using the fractional units, how could we do it? 1 FR and 3 FR. Fantastic. Yep. Boxes are painted with teal. Da -la -la -la. Okay, so I don't think we need anything else in there. So let's change that to the box. Do we need a grid gap in this case? Says the gap between boxes is set to 10 pixels, so we can have that again. Make sure it goes in the container. And then for the box, we previously had a background of lime. This time we don't want lime, we want teal. And padding this time is what? Not 20 pixels, but 15. Yep, the internal gutter is 15. And I think that is it, right? We don't need to worry about the color of the text. It should just be the default, which on the platform is white. Yep. I think that's it, right? I've got some extra lines here, see if it gives me any elegance warnings. Ooh, no confetti, so we've done something wrong. That doesn't really help, right? I've just got this Random pink box. Class box A, B, C. Container box. Anyone spot anything?
There's something called a container brackets.
What is this here? Before
Ooh. Crazy. That was it. Good spot. Eagle Eye Max. Yep, so that's it. Any elegance warnings? No, so it doesn't mind the extra spaces there, and it doesn't mind the extra spaces there, but it does mind the extra spaces in some HTML. For example, if I put some spaces there and tested, then we get no trailing white space. Yeah, so make sure that you haven't got any weird spaces after your elements here when dropping them down a line, because that can give you elegance issues. Doesn't break the code or anything like that, but just for the platform, yeah, just for this testing. Cool. Next one. Now you look at this and you just go, what? No, don't give up. We can solve it now. How many times do we need this container? You want to look at it again? So we got 4 lots of 1, 2, 3, and that means we need 4 lots of 1, 2, 3. Yes, in other words, we need 4 of these. Boom. Oops, I've just copied it rather than pasting it, which is really annoying, so I need to copy it again. So this is a flexbox one. So all of these divs are going across the page, right? 1 flex container, 2 flex container, 3 flex container, 4 flex container. However, the items inside are aligned differently. In the first flex container, they're pushed towards the top of the flexbox, then to the bottom, then to the center, and then they're stretched. Yeah. So that's why here we've got top, bottom, center, stretch. We need to align some boxes on the vertical axis. So we're used to aligning stuff on the horizontal axis. How do we do that with Flexbox? Or how do we align along the same axis as the flex direction usually?
Flex direction, right?
So by default we have flex direction row, right? So when we use the property I'm asking about, it justifies across the row. Justify content, yep. So justify content justifies things based on the flex direction. So with the default value, that is from left to right. So if we put flex start on justify content, it would shift everything to the left. But we don't want to do that here. We want to do it on the other axis. So we use the align items property, says Zara. Do we think she's right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Where does the align items property go? Well, that goes in our container, the same way the justify content would go. So we can have align items. In fact, I'm going to put 4 different classes here. And how do I get things to go to the top using aligned items? Do I write top?
Flex start.
Flex start is the equivalent of making things align to the top. Good. And I can just repeat this style for my 4 different variations. I could have done container 1, container 2, container 3, container 4, and then repeated everything that a container contains. But I don't really want to repeat myself. Yeah, I want to keep my CSS as dry as possible. So the only property that's changing is the align items one from one container to the next. So I'm going to keep that separate here. Then it means I don't have to change all these classes as well. I just have to add the appropriate class to style it correctly. So top was flex start, bottom would be flex end, yep. Center, just center, yeah, not flex center, but just center. Center the American way as well. Top, oh no, top, stretch. Align items. Still align items or something else? It's still align items and it's just stretch. STRITC, yep. Okay, I still haven't given a container, so let's put that at the top. Did the stream stop or? No, you okay? Okay. What must go in my container? Display grid, did you say? Yeah, not grid, flex. Right, we're using Flexbox again now. Flex start, flex end, these things aren't gonna work otherwise, so flex. What else do we need generally when working with flex? Or what's a really useful property to have? Do we need row wrap in this case? Flex wrap? I don't think we need flex wrap because we've just got one row each time. Flex direction, no, we still want flex direction to be the row, so I'm happy that we don't need that either. That's the default, so I'm not going to bother writing a default value of flex direction row.
Flex wrap.
Don't need flex wrap either, I just said that. Grid template columns for display flex. No, it's grid, yeah? Grid template columns works with grid. We often put flex 1 in the item, yeah? To make it shrink or grow to fit the width. And this looks like it's 100% width again to me. So I'm going to go with that. So flex 1's a useful shortcut for growing and shrinking. And then, what else do we need? Anything else? Could you please line some boxes? Yeah, so let's just make sure our styles are correctly applied now. So all these top, bottom, center and stretch, they're not doing anything at the moment because I haven't put them anywhere. So where do they go? The first one needs a class of top. Next one needs a class of bottom, then exactly, yeah. So this one, so to give it a second class, just put a space after the first class and then put in the correct class name that you already have a style with. Sorry, not bottom, center. I did that completely wrong because I missed the one at the top. That's annoying. That's alright. I'm going to put stretch there and then I'll move that one down. That's when I'm really glad I didn't call it container 1 to 4 as well, because that would have really messed things up. Okay. Do we need anything else? Maybe, maybe not. Should we try it at this stage? Let's give it a test run. Oh, confetti. Good work. That one was a bit hard, yeah. So that is on the Flex 2 training, which I think along with animations was one of the last ones that we added on the platform, so it's definitely one of the most difficult intermediate topics as well. Yeah?
Why use Flex 1 again, sorry? Like, how do you notice that?
Just this a really useful property that we have on most Flexbox items. So yeah, more than likely you're going to put display flex and flex 1 on the items, yeah? Unless you've got some layout that doesn't seem to fill the whole of the available space. So without it, let's see without it what it does. And it, does anyone have a guess what you think it will do? I think all of this white space in here will disappear, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, look, see, it's just squashed everything over now to the left hand side. So it's not taking up the whole width of the page. Now this one I found really confusing because I'm still not sure whether these are 3 different flex containers or just one flex container, because it says don't forget to wrap the elements, which to me seems to suggest it's just one container, but then we've got 3 lots there. Sorry, just one single lot there. So, yeah, do I want to give this one a go? Not really. I'm going to come back to it. We'll do it at the end. This one's not too bad. Let's create 3 boxes with the following alignment guidelines, X and Y. So we need that on the very top corner of the page, that in the very center of the page, and that on the very bottom right hand corner. Where shall I start? We probably need some sort of container, right? And we probably need some sort of item. I think that's a given, yeah, if we're doing a layout.
We can use here the property position.
You want to use position?
I don't know.
Okay. The middle one's going to be a bit tricky, using position.
So grid, yes, for this.
I would use flex
Place.
in this case, but I'm sure you can do it with grid, yeah? If you can tell me a workable solution with grid, I'll try it, but if not, I'll show you one solution with flex. So let's put my container again. How many items do you think I need? 3 makes sense, yeah? And they have top, middle, and bottom as text, not bottom. And these are not containers now, they are items. Alright. I think that's all of my content. Yeah, there's no more content than that on the page. Items already got some border and padding, so I'm going to leave that alone. So I think it's just the positioning that I need to do. So let's put our container in there. I said we're going to use flex, so what do I need? Display flex. Okay. So to me it looks like I need to align across both axes. Yeah, both the X and the Y axes. I think I'm going to use a second class again. So we're going to have top. We're going to have, sorry, not there. Why did I put it there? Going to have top, middle, and bottom, right? Can we do alignment on the items as well as on the container? Not align items, but there is another property. Align self. Yeah. So the container will align all of the children by using justify content or align items, but the item itself can align itself within the container as well. So in fact, I'm not going to put it for each item. I'm going to do it separately, and we're going to have a top. We are going to have a bottom here, or a bottom, however you want to pronounce it. And the middle one. What values can we get it?
I'm lost.
You're lost.
I don't know, like, align self.
So, oh, did I maybe not align self? I meant align content anyway. Yeah. No, I didn't mean align content. I did mean align self, didn't I? Align content was for the previous questions. So let's have a look at our CSS tricks. And you had guide to Flexbox, right? So one of the properties for the children, align self. There we go. So we can give it all of these possible values: auto, flex start, flex end, center, baseline, stretch. All right. So if we give it flex start, again, it should go in the top left. If we give it center, it should go in the center. So let's try those, see what happens. Top will be flex start, bottom will be flex end, don't forget your semicolons, and middle will be center. Already got them here. So this isn't going to work yet, but let's see if it does anything at all. Not really, right?
Great. Do you think it's the container type that I need to find?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's not working, yeah? So I need to make the container's height to 100%, so that then they can align themselves within the whole of this container rather than just this tiny little row. So the container, we can give a height of 100%. Anything else you spotted missing, Zara?
No.
No.
Do you need to change the background color? Is it black or the whole thing, or just the default?
So what did we... Yeah, these buttons aren't working for me, are they?
Do you have to do lip as well?
It almost looks like that, but
Oh, you have to like give them one fraction each or something, like it's like flex equals 1 for each of the items.
yep, so that's what we're missing. That key property that we just spoke about, flex 1 on each item, yeah? So that it stretches the whole width of the page. Still not working. Right, so now we're good in terms of our width, but our middle's still at the top and our bottom's at the bottom. So in other words, there's something wrong with the middle. Look, centre with a funny little quote after it rather than a semicolon. Hopefully that's all it was, and that was all it was. Yeah, so just a little bug there when I coded it. So yes, the key things to get that sort of layout was making our height 100%, flex 1 to go across the page, and then this align self property. Yeah, so a really useful one to align the content in a certain part of your container. Otherwise you would have to use the separate properties, you know, justify content, align items to get things where you needed, but just individual control on each element. Align self is a really useful property for that.
So for the container, right?
Yep.
But the height is 100%.
Yes. Well, not always, but this time we wanted something right at the very bottom of the page. If I put a height of 50%, then my bottom element is going to be sort of here, yeah? Let's see what happens. Yeah? So you see now, you've still got that same pattern with this diagonal going on, but of course it's only taken up 50% of the page rather than the whole page. So you see what the 100%'s done now, yeah? And without any height at all, they just squashed them all on one row. Or one inline container. Good stuff. To avoid confusing you, I'd rather not do the fourth one now, because it confused me a little bit looking at it, if that's okay. And we can work at that another time, yeah? And I've fully understood what it's asking. Good. Any other questions? Alright, so well done for making a start and cracking most of you one intermediate question, or at least seeing how you could do it next time. And yeah, the rest of the day just code flicks, or I can give you extension tasks, or have a go at the routing. Yeah, I'm here if you need me.